Can you imagine what it would do to our country if at the same time Donald Trump hits our steel industry with a tariff, Mark Carney brings in a massive new carbon tax? My friends, under Mark Carney, there will be no steel making in Canada.
But the large polluters pay. And so what happens...
But does that not ultimately trickle down?
No, because what the big companies are producing, by and large, are not products that we are consuming. There's some element of that, but by and large, you know, a steel company, how much steel are you using these days, Todd? I mean, not as much we used. So anyway.
Yeah. How much steel are you using these days? Big tariff on steel starts today. Mark Carney has walked into a political minefield. When we come back, not only that, but Pierre Poilievre is going to virtually end foreign aid. Welcome back to another episode of Stand on Guard. We'll be right back. We need political change, but we also need the resolve to resist. Okay, that's about the third time, and I must say, before I forget, please like the station at this point in the broadcast. It helps a small station like this become a larger one. Help us hit that 40,000 subscriber mark. We're about 900 away. We can do it by the end of the week with your help. Let your friends and family know about the station, why it's a little bit different than everybody else. I hope we see it that way. Thank you so much for watching today. We really appreciate your support and your viewership. And we're trying to give you all the news you need to know, at least as much as we can in one day. But we've shown you that Mark Carney clip before because it's surreal. That's the only way I can describe it. Either the man is a complete moron, completely ignorant, or he's trying to sell you a bill of goods that I don't think anybody really wants to buy. No, we don't use any steel anymore. Mark, no, I can't think of any products around the house. Maybe the refrigerator or the stove, the dishwasher, maybe the buildings outside, maybe the car I drive, maybe the bus I take occasionally. Yeah. But the irony, of course, is that Mark Carney comes out with this stupid statement. And within a week, there is a huge 25% tariff on aluminum and steel products from Canada. Yes, Donald Trump has put them on the steel and aluminum products of the world, but it will affect Canada. But Mark Carney says, don't worry, no big deal. We don't use any steel. Mark Carney says he's against the consumer carbon tax. He's for a corporate carbon tax, which of course will trickle down. And it's going to be worse because he's comparing this to a tariff, a carbon tax tariff. This is insanity. We'll get into that more. And the fact that Pierre Poilievre, momentous decision yesterday, a momentous announcement about cutting or virtually ending foreign aid so we can pay for some national defense projects, largely to enhance or to at least say the Arctic is ours. Our part of the Arctic is ours. If we don't use it, we lose it. That's been an argument for quite some time. Justin Trudeau has done nothing to substantiate Canadian sovereignty in the Arctic. Pierre Poilievre has made that a mainstay of conservative policy for quite some time. And I must say, Stephen Harper did make some efforts to enforce, or at least to plant the flag in the North. So that's very important. Before I go any further, let's not forget the Canada First rally. Go, if you want to go, register. There's the form on the Conservative Party website. You want to be there. I don't care who you want to win in this next election. We need one. And we need to come out and say, Pierre, fight to get an election. Fight for a new election. We need to get rid of this Liberal government. I want to hear what the new strategy is. I think I know. I've explained it. I think it's all about Pierre Poilievre making announcements like a prime minister should, not going to France on artificial intelligence rallies and kissing the president of France, Emmanuel Macron, and looking like the goof he always does, whether he's at home or abroad. But it's about making concrete announcements in Canada. That's what Pierre Poilievre is doing. And Pierre Poilievre is going to shift his message from just axe the tax to we're axing the taxing or something like that. That's where he's going. I've explained this for the past few days. It's going to broaden the whole appeal of tax cuts. And it's going to be about why Canada needs to be a place of freedom. It's not just about tax cuts. It's not just about reducing regulations. It's not just about making the streets safer. It's about returning to a Canada that's free, where we can speak our minds, where we can write what we want, where we can say what we want, that where we can think what we want. Anyway. And no, that's the rally. Saturday, February 15th. Be there. If they want you to register, go ahead and register. Like I say, I'm not in the bag for Poilievre and the Conservatives. I'm supporting a lot of his policies. He will be the next Prime Minister of Canada. He needs to be encouraged to make the right decisions about fiscal, social, and foreign policy. And small c Conservatives and small l Libertarians need to push him in the right direction. That's why I encourage you to go to that rally. Not to blindly support any political party, but to support the right policies when you see them and the right leader when you see him. That's what I'm encouraging people to do. Now let's delve into this appearance Pierre Poilievre made yesterday way up north. And he really, it sounds like he's sniffling at times. I don't know if that's because he's got a cold or because of the weather. You know how it is when you're outside in the cold. Your nose tends to run and you get sniffly. So I don't know if that's the case. He's been sounding that way for the last couple of days. I'm sure he's under tremendous pressure because of Donald Trump continuing to sabotage. Yes, he is. Donald Trump continues to sabotage our election by giving Justin Trudeau lots of rope, by allowing Justin Trudeau to demonize Donald Trump. He's allowing Justin Trudeau and the Liberal Party to run on something. They had nothing to run on. Before Trump started talking about tariffs, making Canada the 51st state, annexing Canada, there was nothing for the Liberals or the NDP coalition to run on. They had destroyed the country. But Donald Trump has given them some room. That's why we need to move past this as quickly as possible, get into new elections, have a prime minister that's not a lame duck, have a prime minister who can negotiate with Donald Trump so we can get past this tariff threat and we can get on to prosperity, continental prosperity and continental defense. Let's emphasize North America, not what's going on in Europe and around the world. Let's bring the armed forces home. Let's do what we need to do to protect our borders, secure our borders. And I think this is what Poilievre was getting at in this speech. This is really good stuff, and I'll tell you why, but let's listen to some of it right now.
On President Trump's remarks yesterday, let me be clear. Canada will never be the 51st state. We are a proud, sovereign, and independent country. We are a patriotic people, and we will defend our future and our independence. We need to do away with Mr. Carney's carbon tax. This is another thing. Carney told CTV about 10 days ago he's going to bring in a new carbon tax on Canadian industry. He mentioned steel. Can you imagine what it would do to our country if at the same time Donald Trump hits our steel industry with a tariff, Mark Carney brings in a massive new carbon tax? My friends, under Mark Carney, there will be no steel making in Canada, and we will lose the most fundamental strategic building block of an economy and, frankly, our national security. These radical policies have not worked in the last 9 years, and they will be a catastrophe if they are allowed to continue for a fourth term of the Carney Trudeau Liberals. That's why we need a strong, Canada First, common sense Conservative government that will, yes, axe taxes, build homes, fix budgets, and stop crime, that will bring home production and paychecks by repealing anti-energy laws, that will build pipelines, unapologetically build pipelines, dig mines, LNG liquefaction plants, that will pass a bring-it-home tax cut to bring back the $500 billion that the Carney Trudeau Liberals have given to the Americans. We will take back control of our borders with more border guards. We will cut foreign aid in order to rebuild our military, reclaim our north, put Canadians back in charge of their lives in the freest nation on earth. Canada first, Canada here, Canada now, Canada forever. Let's bring it home.
Now, we'll come back to Pierre Poilievre's speech in a second there, but I think what's important is not just that he's outlining tax cuts. When's the last time you actually heard a political leader in this country talk about cutting foreign aid to the point where it's not something that gets in the way of our ability to spend on national defense? Harper talked about it, never came through. Brian Mulroney talked about it, never came through. Foreign aid actually went up during the Mulroney years. This has been the case with conservative governments in the past. They love to talk about it because they know it gets people like you and I all excited. Donald Trump, one of the first things he did, ending foreign aid. This is incredibly important because it says, look, we're tired of spending money on Ukraine. We're tired of spending money on foreign wars. We're tired of spending money on countries that just take it and spend it in ways that we didn't even foresee, or spending it on incredibly stupid projects that are an utter waste of money that does nobody any good, especially the country we give it to. What Poilievre was actually talking about substantive and substantial cuts to foreign. I don't know if he's going to end foreign aid. He hasn't quite gone there yet. But I think it's possible. I think it's possible because this guy is clearly going a little bit further than other conservative leaders have in the past, because he knows there's an appetite amongst the Canadian public to go further, that we cannot continue in the same vein. This is why I say we've got to move past this encumbrance we are experiencing right now with Donald Trump emphasizing the tariff, emphasizing the 51st state, emphasizing annexation. We've got to move past that, and I think Pierre Poilievre is trying to do that. This is part of what the Canada First rally will be about on Saturday. But he needs to position himself as a prime minister in waiting, as the guy who's actually out there making serious decisions, declaring serious announcements, while Justin Trudeau is over in Paris talking blather. And we'll get to that in a minute. He did. He talked blather once again, the same silliness, but how much he doesn't like social media that's not reflecting his own values and statements. That's what Justin Trudeau went to France to talk about, as well as getting together with his good buddy, Emmanuel Macron. But that's all. Let's listen to the rest of Pierre Poilievre's speech here from the North yesterday. Very good material.
All of these improvements will be funded by dramatically cutting foreign aid, most of which, or a lot of which, goes to dictators, terrorists, and global bureaucracies. We've got enough problems at home. We've got our own backyard to protect. We can't be sending billions of dollars to other places. Often, much of it is wasted and stolen and swallowed up by bureaucracies that act against our interest. I will be bringing our money home with massive cuts to these wasteful and corrupt foreign aid grants. So Canadians will decide. With Trudeau, Carney Liberals, more and more billions of dollars will go to global and globalist organizations, while our people at home are starving and our military is unable to defend our territory. Or they can bring it home with common sense conservatives who will make sure our money serves our people, our sovereignty, and our interests. And we will also go ahead with the already planned defense update, NORAD modernization plans that include, among other things, advanced air-to-air missiles, air-to-air refueling aircraft, upgrades at the forward operating locations in Inuvik, Yellowknife, Goose Bay, and of course the new base here in Iqaluit. Other upgrades include early warning aircraft, northern operational support hubs, new submarines to replace the failing Victoria-class fleet, tactical helicopters, and a new satellite ground station in the Arctic.
It's all good stuff. And once again, we've heard similar material in the past from conservative leaders, but I think this time we've got a serious declaration. Yes, continental defense is good. No, sending money over to endless wars, especially that one in Ukraine, is not good. We need peace in Ukraine. We need peace in Europe. And we need the Europeans to take care of European affairs. North Americans need to take care of North American affairs. And that's what NORAD has done very well over the years. And that's why I approve the continuation of that organization, because it does provide good continental defense, which is what we need to secure the Canada-US border. See how this all works together? When we're not focused on corrupt regimes in Europe, but we're focused on the border security, it lends itself to national defense concerns. It lends itself to continental defense, which is where we should be focused. So this is what Poilievre is saying, and I 100% approve of what he's doing here. And we're going to hear more of this on Saturday. But I hope I also hear some of those Reagan-esque moments when Poilievre describes Canada as a place of freedom. He hasn't quite used that phrase, a city on a hill, the way Ronald Reagan used to describe the United States. But I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for Poilievre to describe Canada as that city on a hill, as a shining light of freedom. That's where we need to go. Not just about what he's going to cut, but what he's going to add. What a change of government will mean for ordinary Canadians, to have optimism again, to have confidence in their government. But more so, to have confidence that the government isn't going to interfere in their lives, that the government is not going to take over their lives and tell them how to raise their children, that will have limited government. And the impetus, again, will be on in the individual to create, to produce, and to prosper. That's what we need to do. We need to get into a positive frame of mind in this country again. We have lost that through a decade of the Liberals and Justin Trudeau, who have pounded on us, who have slammed the government message that more government is good. This broadcast is being suppressed right now by YouTube. Please share it with your friends and family, because we need to get this message out, and I'm going to keep talking about this. Now, Justin Trudeau this morning from France talked about the steel tariff. Amazingly, he seems to know more about the steel tariff than Mark Carney.
Canadian steel and aluminum would be entirely unjustified. We are the U.S.'s closest ally. Our economies are integrated. Canadian steel and aluminum is used in a number of key American industries, whether it's defense, shipbuilding, manufacturing, energy, automotive. Together we make North America more competitive. We will be working with the American administration over the coming weeks to highlight the negative impacts on Americans and Canadians of these unacceptable tariffs. But we'll also be working with our international partners and friends. And if it comes to that, our response, of course, will be firm and clear. We will stand up for Canadian workers. We will stand up for Canadian industries. And more Canadians will stand up for each other. This is a moment of pride. This is a moment of pulling together. This is a moment for Canada to be solid in our identity, in our sovereignty, and in our presence for our friends and neighbors.
Pretty tired talking points. But after he says, of course, before he said this, he again badmouthed Donald Trump. Obliquely, indirectly, a little with perhaps a hint of subtlety if he's capable of that. But he has the nerve to suggest that now he's a reasonable man after he said this at the AI conference.
Just for an increasingly small group of ultra-rich oligarchs whose only concern is the value of their stock portfolios. We must put the middle class at the center of AI, and AI in service of the middle class.
What the hell does that mean? This is the guy who is in service of the oligarchs, the globalists. Justin Trudeau is the guy who does the bidding of those oligarchs. He's not interested in the middle class. What does he do with the middle class in Canada? I mean, let's face it. He pounds you into the ground with taxation, with a carbon tax that is going up again. He pounds you into subservience with punitive taxes on everything you do. And that's how he creates a strong middle class. It's all been nonsense from day one with Justin Trudeau. He doesn't care about any middle class. He does do the bidding. He does serve the oligarchs. He does do everything he can for the WEF and the globalists. That's what Justin Trudeau is all about.
Allowing people everywhere to work smarter, not harder, to do more with less. Businesses must grow faster along with their employees, instead of doing the same thing they do now, but with fewer employees.
Okay, is he even listening to himself? So this is going to be a great boon to the middle class and working people because there'll be fewer of them working. He doesn't even listen to his own talking points. He doesn't even realize that what he's saying makes absolutely no sense. And it doesn't add up. The arithmetic isn't there. So it's going to take jobs away, but that's good. And we should all be happy. But where have you heard that before? Sounds like Klaus Schwab. You'll own nothing and be happy. This is where Justin Trudeau draws his entire identity from this mythology of the WEF that poverty is a liberating phenomena for the working class. And the poorer they get and the richer the elites get, the happier everybody's going to be because we'll own nothing and we won't have anything to worry about.
And imitating what builders, creators, and artists already do so well. We need to make sure that the profits, the power, the benefits that come from this new technology are fairly shared. We've already seen the anger and division that grows when people feel they're left out of progress.
Oh, we talking about Donald Trump? Anger and division. When people feel they're left out of progress. Yeah, see, and he's delivering this in that prissy tone of voice that his father sometimes emulated, but he got away with it. Justin Trudeau just sounds like an interior decorator when he puts on that little prissy voice, schoolmarm voice of his lecturing us all. But who's he talking about here? Oh, must have been those people who elected that evil orange man, Donald Trump.
We, governments, the private sector, and civil society need to think responsibly about how AI is shaping the world. We cannot let AI pollute social media with empty slop and cunning disinformation.
There it is. We cannot let AI pollute social media with empty slop and cunning disinformation. That's at the basis of all of his censorship laws. Anything he doesn't agree with, Anything that is contrary to the Liberal Party or Justin Trudeau's mind is empty slop and cunning disinformation. There it is again. He can never miss an opportunity especially when he's outside of Canada, to talk about how all social media that he doesn't agree with is really not just negative, but damaging and dangerous.
Cannot let it grow even more, the rifts within us, rifts that are already so deep between the haves, the have-nots, and the have-yachts.
Oh, ho, ho.
We cannot let it drive our citizens further towards cynicism, populism, hopelessness, and hatred. AI could unleash the...
Populism is equivalent to hatred. Where does he get that notion from? So if you're for the people, you're for hatred. If you're for the elites, you're for enlightenment. That's where Justin Trudeau's mind continues to dwell.
Potential of every human being to contribute, to create, to positively impact the world around us, but only if we choose to shape it that way. We, leaders in this room and around the world, have a choice to make. And that choice is being made now. Not 5 years ago, not 5 years from now. Now. If we don't meet this moment, our children, our grandchildren, and great-grandchildren will judge us harshly for it.
You know what, folks? Our children, our grandchildren, and our great-grandchildren are going to judge Justin Trudeau and Joe Biden very harshly for what they've done in the past 4 to 10 years, which has been horrendous inflationary spending, massive taxation, over-regulation, all in the name of fighting climate change, creating green energy that ultimately has collapsed, trying to take away your gas-powered automobile by 2030, realizing it ain't going to happen, creating economic chaos. That's what our children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren are going to remember and blame us for, that we had people like Justin Trudeau making decisions. Now, I've saved, I think, some of the best for last here. And please, don't go away. Don't go away, because I've got Jagmeet Singh coming up. I want to show you my merchandise store first, but when we come back, the funniest piece of the half hour is Jagmeet Singh when he tries to explain how tough he's going to get with Donald Trump. Great stuff. You want to see something really funny? Jagmeet Singh says he's going to get tough
fighting
with Donald Trump.
How do you see that fighting moving forward? Is it reciprocal tariffs?
Yeah, the first step is going to be dollar for dollar retaliatory tariffs. Impose a tariff on us, we'll impose a tariff back on you. Again, no one wins in these trade wars. But this is not a fight that we wanted to pick. We were happy to continue to have a strong relationship. Donald Trump has picked this fight, so we're going to fight back. We just announced today, what I would do is put in place a 100% tariff on Tesla, directly targeting Elon Musk. Because Elon Musk is proudly touting this idea of the 51st state, so let's hit back at Elon Musk. I've also said we should shut down the supply of critical minerals. Another move that directly targets Elon Musk and his Tesla company. The batteries that he needs require these critical minerals. We've got tools, and we should be ready to use them. It's not something that we wanted to do, but if Donald Trump wants to bring this fight, know that we are ready. I'm putting Donald Trump on notice.
Canadian MP Jagmeet Singh, appreciate you joining us and sharing your perspective.
Wow, he's putting Donald Trump on notice. Well, thank you so much, Jagmeet, for doing the fighting for us. Incredible. I think CNN realized, hey, did you know there was an opposition leader in Canada? Except he's not really an opposition leader because he's really in the pocket of Justin Trudeau. But he's a far left socialist. And he's got something to say about tariffs. Incredible material here. But it gets better, folks. It gets even better. Here he is putting Donald Trump on notice. If Donald Trump even knows who this moron is, I'm sure he's quaking in his boots right now. But it gets even better because here's Jagmeet Singh announcing he's going to go back to the electric vehicle rebate. We've spent $52 billion on electric vehicle plants that are failing because nobody wants to buy electric vehicles. It's a bomb. Jagmeet Singh says, hey, let's go back to the electric vehicle rebate.
DP leader Jagmeet Singh is in town today. He joins us in studio. Mr. Singh, Donald Trump's latest threat, 25% tariffs on Canadian aluminum and steel. Your response to that?
We've got to fight back. The only thing we can do is fight back. So I've said the first step is we need to immediately announce that there will be retaliatory tariffs on American aluminum and steel or other retaliatory measures that we can take. When it comes to aluminum, though, we know we're one of the only suppliers. So this move is not just going to hurt Canadians. It's also going to hurt Americans. It's going to increase the cost of things. When Donald Trump promised to lower the prices, this is going to increase prices. And so this is a bad decision. This is a bad move, but we're going to fight back. We also need to make sure the workers impacted, the industries impacted, have supports, but those supports have to be tied to the jobs and the good wages.
Okay, so regarding EVs as well, you are also talking about a rebate and a significantly larger rebate than what we've seen.
That's right. So we want to bring back the electric vehicle rebate and double it when it comes to made in Canada electric vehicles. We want Canada to be the best place in the world to build electric vehicles. And to do that for Canadians who are right now, they're pretty angry that Donald Trump.
How stupid is this man? I've got to interject at this point. This is beyond ignorance. Does he not notice? Does he not read that electric vehicles are selling like used Edsels did in the late 1950s? Electric vehicles are not viable. We have already lost $52 billion investing, wasting taxpayer money in EV plants. Jagmeet Singh wants to waste more of your money. He wants even larger rebates for electric vehicles that nobody wants to buy. This man is clearly not fit to be the leader of any party. He's not fit to be a dog catcher. He's not really fit to be anything except a failed lawyer. So I have no idea why this man ever got into politics. But would you want your life defended by this man as a lawyer? Because he doesn't even have any grain of common sense.
His good neighbor, his ally. We've been great neighbors. We've worked together. And so Canadians are angry and are saying, well, we are not going to buy American. We're going to buy Canadian. To help Canadians make that choice, we want to make it easier. So a $10,000 rebate for made in Canada electric vehicles, which there are a number of them.
Okay. When it comes to Trump, what are some of the things you think the Prime Minister has done well, and what are some of the choices you disagree with that he's made?
Well, the retaliatory tariffs, I agree with. I've called for that. I think we need to go dollar for dollar. If they hit us, we have to hit them back. One of the things that's clear.
Of course, Trump has already said, if you do retaliatory tariffs, Jagmeet Singh, although he doesn't know who the hell Jagmeet Singh is, we're going to hit you with 50% tariffs. What about that, Jagmeet? Do you really think you have a leg to stand on here?
To me is that there is no real appeasement that works. And there's an attempt to appease Donald Trump, and he keeps on moving the goalposts. That's just not going to work. So we need to be firm, we need to be strong, and we need to go even further. I say we should hit them with, we will stop the flow of critical minerals. America needs our critical minerals, and this is a move that specifically targets Elon Musk, who we know is the billionaire buddy of Donald Trump. So let's hit them where it counts and say, if you're going to pick this fight with us, a fight that we did not want, we're going to fight back.
Okay, any last message for...
All right, my last message today is to say that Jagmeet Singh hasn't got a hope in hell of becoming even the next opposition leader. And he hasn't got a clue in hell about how the economy is run. And does he really think we have so many minerals the United States needs that we can hold them hostage in any negotiations? The guy is absolutely out to lunch. Well, numbers were disappointing today, but please tell your friends and family about this broadcast. Thank you so much for joining me today. We're going to talk tomorrow. We're going to be back to talk about Canada's Doge, what we need to do in Canada to hold government responsible under a Pierre Poilievre government, because we're going to have to keep the Pierre Poilievre government accountable too. Remember that. We have to keep whatever government we have accountable, liberal or conservative, because that's what freedom is all about. Thanks for watching today, folks. I'll be back again tomorrow with all the news you need to know, and let's continue to resolve to resist.